We're going to get down to that, but we're going to break this thing down a little bit more specific to a couple people that really have just been on our radar in a little part we call the player discussions. But we're going to take a little breather. Be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy.
I love that.
Always. I just want to play it on other shows. I'm just like, oh, can I click this? Can I do this? Absolutely. So we're going to dive into the players. And this week we're going to stay on my favorite position, the running back position. And Will, I'm gonna let you start. Antonio Gibson. We discussed him. He has been on all, he's been the center of attention on a lot of different shows and a lot of our interviews and in-house and things of that nature because of the fact that we saw that he was immediately benched a week ago. And we saw that the fumbling issues had come back and reoccurred, and we hate that. And even in practice, they kind of put him at kick returner. You saw he started at kick returner in the game. And it's kind of, they talked about it being kind of a demotion and this and that. Now, when he came in and in the role that he came in as more of, a running back by depth chart, position title, but I'm also a wide receiver. That proved to be, that's where he's gold. You know what I mean? Almost like better than McKissick. I'm closer to a wide receiver, but I mean, his hands, you see that one time hit that one-handed catch on him. So talk to me about Gibson. Is this the role that, that fits him, getting him out in the open like this?
I definitely think it is. Yeah. No, I think what you saw in this game actually is the Antonio Gibson that got drafted from Memphis. Kick returning, playing out in space, getting him the ball, letting him run. And maybe, earlier I said, where has this been over the past 2 years? Maybe it's because we didn't have a Brian Robinson behind. And so they felt limited. Like if we don't have if something happens to this guy, if he gets nicked, and he has gotten nicked both, in both seasons, if we don't have another replacement for this guy, then we can't do the things we want to do. And maybe that's what you're seeing, because if they're like, we drafted this guy because he has the ability to return kicks, now they're doing it. We drafted this guy because he is fast when he gets the ball in his hands and he's tough to bring down. And he took that little slant pass from Carson and ran another 20-some yards and broke he broke an arm tackle in the process and to get the big play first time. I'm sorry, it was Heineke. I think it was. I don't think Wentz was out. But again, he showed these are the stuff we saw on film. And so maybe it's more of a now they can utilize him the way they really want him to. Still let him run a little bit too, but make him that weapon. And for lack of being creative, make him that slash type of player out there. And so I think this could be good. From a fantasy perspective, I have no idea what you do to him at that point. Like how it's
like some all year, I guess.
Right. But but like if you're finding different ways to get him the ball, that's only a positive. So I liked that part of it. It's like this was we said, is this going to be his bounce back game? Well, it kind of was. In the passing game.
Right. But it goes back to what we've been saying all year. Like if you only have one job, then you're most likely not going to be kept for a while unless you do that job amazingly well. And obviously with the fumbling issues, they moved him. Kick returner, he had a little 17-yard return, nothing major, but still okay. I like that. But then when you put him in receiver, when you throw him out of the backfield and you allow him to use his hands and get him in space, I mean, it's one thing, and coming from a running back, it's one thing to line up and you're looking right at 7 in the box. And you know where the ball is going. And they might not know, but once they find out, it's all eyes on you. As opposed to lining up outside or even in the backfield and immediately getting out of that rush and then getting a one-on-one situation, it's a whole different psyche. It's a whole, it's like I can handle this as opposed to don't fumble, because I'm about to get hit from every single angle. So I think that what they did right here is they utilized what he's talented at. And I'm so glad they continued to give him the opportunity. We saw how they yanked him a week ago, and we heard all the stuff about in this week, how they had put him on special teams, and is Brian Robinson the guy? And I mean, it was, in my opinion, it was a similar situation to Taylor Heineke with Sam Howell. Everybody out of the gate, Sam Howell, he's the first rookie to do this, and Sam Howell is doing all this stuff. And Heineke said, wait, whoa. I went toe-to-toe with the GOAT and beat the GOAT in back-to-back years. What have you done, Sam? And he showed up. And I think this was for Gibson, was that moment where he only had a couple carries. He only had a couple carries for like 3 yards or something like that. But he had 3 receptions for almost 40 yards, getting averaging about like 12 yards a pop. You know what I mean? First down, if we can continue that, and in that he looks dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, getting him out there and potentially one-on-one with a linebacker or a nickel, come on now.
All day.
Yeah,
give it all
I would
day.
definitely take that. And then, but I think, like you said, I think you made a great point when you said, I don't think this is possible without Brian Robinson. I think with McKissick, you have this similar. You have a fear of him going out for a pass, but you don't have really a fear of him going between the tackles. And Jared, shout out to Jared Patterson, but he never established that as a bruiser between the tackles. Brian Robinson, even when he gets stopped, is falling forward for yards. Brian Robinson is really, he is as advertised. And I think that takes the pressure off Gibson, because it's like, all right, young boy, you go up the middle, you get bruised, let me come out the backfield and catch a screen or something like that. I wonder, though, will the defenses be tipped off? Is that going to be like you mentioned slash? Is that going to be like when Cordell Stewart came in? Then they know, here comes the run, or like a Taysom Hill. Here comes this specific thing. And if Gibson comes in, here comes the pass. Here comes the pass. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to mesh him, get him back in there, and kind of have like what we've been saying all off season, have the both of them kind of giving a little 50-50, maybe even a little 60-40. Maybe we'll have a situation like they have in Dallas with what they used to have at Dallas with Zeke and Pollard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. One lightning, one thunder, something like that.
Right.
So
we'll see. So I definitely think so. And it also goes back to there's only one football. And now, when we get to the big guy that just is coming back this week, how many pass catchers are we going to have? Again, are we going to have the worst fantasy numbers because we're just spreading it around too much, which I won't be mad at.
Right.
But,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. But look, Gibson, he felt he looked at home. He looked comfortable, and that's something I'm glad they utilized. But the reason why I'm sure you agree with me, why he looked comfortable, why he was at home, is because that boy, that 3rd round pick from Alabama, that big boy, he came in and it's one of those situations. I had it when I had Ab when he was on my team. I had Duriel out there. When you come out, they're getting the same level of punishment from the running backs. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I had the David Thompson, Ian Slatter, those type of guys, if I came out for a breather, they're coming in and they're slashing and busting you, doing the exact same thing. Having the Brian Robinson there, if he starts or if he's back up, it's just a positive for our team. It's an asset. And even when they know he's running, he's still getting yards for that. And that makes me so excited. But we have to talk about this. They've been talking about this all week. And I know we said pump our brakes on the Sam Howell thing. Should we pump our brakes on the Brian Robinson? I mean, I know they said they moved him up to the starting role, or that's the way it was perceived at least. Is Brian our guy, or what do you think?
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I don't know when you're drafting for fantasy, but, I've got my eyes on him. I can tell you that.
We'll be getting that.
Right. Yeah, I think this is where it's so kind of interesting. Let's go back to April. Let's go back to Friday of the draft. In the 3rd round, we picked this running back up, and man, it's fun to watch Twitter blow up. Right. And everyone goes like, what are we doing? We have Gibson, we have McKissick. What? We don't need a running back. And now you're out here. It's August. He's playing, and you're going, ooh, that guy looks good. Oh, that guy looks like someone we needed. And so maybe that's time to just kind of got to trust the process, trust the coaches. And he does look good. And we've talked about it because he's natural with it, and let's not forget, he looked good on Saturday behind Sadiq Charles on the left side and Aaron Montero on the right side. And I give you credit because I had to watch the game afterwards. And you said, I'm really impressed with our offensive line during the game. You texted us that. Yeah. And so I was trying to watch that and I was like, yeah, he's right. Like, we're not giving up sacks. And I don't know one of these guys. I don't know at all. I've never heard of this guy.
Never heard of
Montero. And Sadiq Charles is like finally getting some playing time, but there hasn't been anything impressive said about him. So Brian Robinson's not running behind all pro guys, and he's still finding holes. He knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
And so it's huge. And so, yeah, is he our number one back? I don't think they care who's one or two, but I think you absolutely can say he is a feature back for us, and he's going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, look, it can only get better, almost 4 yards a carry in the game. And like you said, going to the O-line, look, we as a collective at quarterback, we're 25-39, 249 yards, a touchdown and an interception. And that interception, as we know, was late in the game, was a little bit due to pressure, but still they weren't really laying their hands on our quarterbacks. And that's one of the things that I noticed is that, all we've been talking about is how, it's been, linemen have been interchangeable, bringing this guy in, taking this guy out, injuries, this and that. But they really have they seem like they've been kind of next man up, like the epitome of that. And everybody has been really playing together. And it's really been something that we haven't really, not saying that we haven't been getting pressure, but we haven't been getting blown up like we were, where it's like, oh, he missed it completely. And our quarterback is like the Bears, shout out there. I think Nick's in the comments. So yeah, it's just like the Bears and their O-line, we're actually looking like, and maybe that goes back to coaching. Maybe that's our O-line coach who's sitting there putting things together, and hey, everybody knows what they're doing. You would hope, obviously, in week one to have our starting lineup, but if these guys are playing with each other and they're doing it successfully, we know what we dealt with a year ago, where we had our O-line just a ton of guys in and out, and we still kind of worked it. Yeah. If we can do that this year, that could be very beneficial to us. But like you said with Robinson, he's one of those type of backs, and not a Barry-ish where you don't need a running back O-line at all, but he's one of those that can work with. He's going to carry 2 or 3 guys himself. So if you give him a little bit of a hole, he'll be able to find that. And what I really like is that his vision. There's a lot of times where you can see where the play is going, and he stops and sees the hole, and he's cutting inside of it. But he's making that one cut and getting that head right down the field. I love that, man. I absolutely love that.
Remember at the end of the season, Pro Football Focus did put out how many yards the offensive lines were opening up that running backs missed, and Antonio Gibson was second among all running backs in available yards, and the difference between him and Jonathan Taylor was 500 yards. Yeah, just think about how much that could help us, out there. So it's like, I think the running ability became a bigger issue than we all realized. And I think the coaching staff recognized we got to do something about this. We got to fix this. And hopefully with Robinson bringing in that they did.
Yeah. And hey, we have to realize how much the running game is fully affecting our wide receivers, our quarterback, all of that. Because if we cannot sustainably run the ball, we saw what happened when we started passing the ball more and more. We're 1 or 2 plays, you get a penalty, you get a sack. Now all of a sudden, drives are dead. And then you have it where your punter is getting 6 punts for almost 300 daggone yards. You know what I mean? That's an issue. But if we're continually running, especially when they're not being able to stop that, good. You want to open up that passing game, keep successfully running, have them bring safeties up, have them bring linebackers up so you can go over the top on them. And something we're about to talk about soon, Carson's about to get something that's going to help him definitely go over the top.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.